Have you ever felt stuck, just waiting for your life to get better? You're not alone. Most people live in this constant state of waiting. They hope that conditions will change, that their situation will improve, that others will finally see their worth, or that somehow the world around them will shift and give them what they want. But here's the truth, and it comes from experience. This waiting is what keeps you stuck. The waiting itself keeps you tied to your current limitations. The outside world is just a mirror showing you what's happening inside. Until you learn how to truly feel as if your wish has already come true, the world will keep reflecting back to you the same reality you've always known. The art of assumption isn't some mystical idea. It's not magic, even though the results might feel magical when you experience them. It's simply the natural way consciousness works through your imagination. When you fully understand what it means to assume your new identity, when you truly feel as if you've become what you want to be, the world around you has no choice but to change to match that assumption. But let's be clear about what assume means. It doesn't mean to hope. It doesn't mean to wish. It doesn't mean to pretend. To assume means to take on the mental and emotional state of already being what you want to be. To feel so connected to your goal that there is no longer any gap between you and it. When you really assume your new identity, you don't have to think about it, work toward it, or hope for it. You simply are it. This is where many people struggle. They try to feel wealthy, but still feel poor inside. They try to feel loved, but still carry feelings of rejection. They try to feel successful while still thinking like a failure. And what happens? That inner conflict cancels out the power of assumption. You can't hold on to your old identity while trying to step into a new one. The new must replace the old so completely that the old no longer exists in your mind. The foundation of assumption. Consciousness is the only reality. Everything you see and experience in life, your body, your relationships, your job, your circumstances, is simply your consciousness expressed in physical form. You're always creating your reality, whether you realize it or not. You do it by the states of consciousness you choose to live in, whether by habit, by accident, or on purpose. Once you understand this, you'll see that changing your outer world isn't about fixing or forcing anything out there. It's about changing what you're holding inside. And how do you do that? Through the practice of assumption. You train yourself to feel as if you are already living the life you want. And you hold that feeling steadily until it becomes your natural state. Your imagination isn't separate from reality. It is your creative power, the same creative force that shapes everything in this world. When you imagine yourself as already having what you want and truly feel it, you're not fantasizing, you're creating. Everything that exists started as an imagined idea in someone's mind. But here's the key. Imagination alone isn't enough. Feeling is what brings it to life. You can imagine being wealthy all you want, but if you don't feel wealthy, your imagination has no power. The feeling is what gives your vision strength. When you can feel yourself already in possession of your desire, you set in motion the forces that will bring it into your life. This is why I always say, live from the end. Don't just hope your dream will come true. Don't just wait for it to happen. Live as if it's already yours. When you live from this place, you collapse time. You bring what you want into the present. The outside world may take a little while to catch up, but inside, the change is immediate. Your job is not to chase the outcome. Your job is to become the person who already has it. So the next time you find yourself waiting, ask, am I waiting for life to change? Or am I ready to change my inner state and let life follow? The moment you truly assume your new identity, the world will reflect it back. How to practice the art of assumption. Let's break down how you can actually practice this art of assumption in your life. 1. Get clear about what you want to be, not what you want to have, not what you want to do. Start with what you want to be, because your state of being is what leads to having and doing. If you want to experience wealth, you first need to assume that you are a wealthy person. If you want to experience love, you need to see yourself as someone who is deeply loved. If you want success, you need to feel yourself as already being a successful person. Once you establish this state of being, what you have and what you do will flow naturally from it. 2. Create a simple scene that shows your desire has already come true. This scene should feel natural and include some action. If your goal is to be a successful business owner, imagine yourself signing an important contract or speaking to your team. If your goal is to be happily married, picture yourself wearing a wedding ring with someone congratulating you. The key is to make this scene as real as possible to your senses. See what you would see, hear what you would hear, feel what you would feel if your desire had already come true. But most importantly, feel the satisfaction, the joy, the sense of completion that would come with it. This feeling is the heart of your assumption. Without it, the exercise stays at the surface level and doesn't create change. 3. Keep returning to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is where discipline comes in. You need to revisit your imagined scene regularly, especially in that relaxed, drowsy state before you fall asleep. This is when your conscious mind steps back and your subconscious is most open. Every night, enter into your imagined scene until it feels more real than your current situation. Stay with this feeling until it becomes your normal way of seeing yourself. This step is critical because your subconscious is used to the old version of you. It's been supporting your current reality for years. It won't change easily. You have to be more persistent in assuming your new identity than your subconscious is in keeping the old one alive. You must keep returning to the feeling of your wish fulfilled so consistently and so strongly that your subconscious has no choice but to accept it as your new reality. Overcoming the contradiction of appearances. There will be times when what you see in the world around you seems to go against your assumption. You might be imagining wealth while your bank account is still low. You might be imagining love while you're still alone. You might be imagining success while facing setbacks. This is part of the process. It's a test of how steady you can hold your assumption. You must remember that the outside world is always the last thing to change. What you see now is just the result of your past states of consciousness. You must hold your assumption firm, no matter what your senses tell you. This is where many give up. They let what they see convince them to drop their assumption. They forget that everything in their world is just reflecting what they've been holding inside. They go back to their old way of seeing themselves because it feels more real, more familiar, more supported by what they can see and touch. But the truth is, what you see with your senses is the least reliable guide. Your senses can only show you what has already been created. They can't show you what's being created now in your consciousness. If you want to succeed in assuming a new identity, you have to live by faith, not by sight. Faith isn't believing in something impossible. Faith is staying loyal to the reality you've assumed, even if it hasn't shown up in your outer world yet. It means being true to your assumption no matter what appears to be happening. When you do this, your assumption will eventually show up in the world around you. The power of conscious assumption. There's a common misunderstanding about assumption that I want to clear up. Some people think that to assume successfully, they have to ignore or deny their current reality. That's not true. Assumption isn't about pretending your problems don't exist. It's about seeing beyond them. You can recognize what's happening now while giving more importance to your assumed identity. Think of it like an actor on stage. The actor might be a regular person, but when they take on a role, they give that role more importance than their personal life during the performance. In the same way, you can see your current situation and still live from your assumed identity. And here's something else to realize. You are always assuming something. Every single moment, you are holding some idea of who you are. The real question is, are you assuming by default based on your past and your environment, or are you assuming on purpose, choosing a new identity that matches what you want? Most people let their past and their surroundings decide who they believe they are. They assume limitation because they've experienced limitation. They assume lack because that's what they're used to. But you have the power to choose differently. You can decide who you want to be. You can choose the state of consciousness you want to live from. This is your gift. This is your creative power. You are not trapped by your circumstances. You are not limited by what happened in your past. You are only limited by what you keep believing about yourself. When you start to assume on purpose, your world starts to shift. People respond to you differently. Opportunities you didn't see before begin to appear. Resources that seemed out of reach start to flow toward you. Your reality reshapes itself to match the new identity you've chosen. This isn't luck. It's not coincidence. It's the natural result of changing your consciousness through assumption, persistence, and the inevitable result. The art of assumption is like learning any new skill. It takes practice. At first, it might feel strange or unnatural. That's because you've spent so much time living from your old identity that it feels comfortable and familiar. The new identity you are trying to assume might feel unfamiliar or even awkward at the start. But keep going. Keep coming back to the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled. The more you do this, the more natural it will feel. With time and repetition, this new identity will become automatic. It will start to feel like who you really are. As you stick with it, you'll notice changes beginning to happen. Your thoughts will start to match this new identity. Your words will reflect it. Your actions will flow from it naturally. You'll catch yourself behaving in ways that fit with the person you've been assuming yourself to be. This is the first sign that your assumption is starting to take root in your mind and your world. The stronger and more complete your assumption, the faster you'll see it show up in your life. If your assumption is half-hearted, the results will be half-hearted too. If you assume only now and then, your results will come now and then. But if you assume fully, with steady persistence, the result becomes certain. When you get to the point where you aren't even thinking about assuming anymore, where your new identity feels so natural that you forget you were ever anything else, that's when manifestation flows easily. This is what it means to live from the state of the wish fulfilled. At this point, you're not hoping for your desire. You're not trying to make it happen. You're simply living as though it's already true. And when you do this, life begins to work through you. Not because of your effort, but because you are in harmony with what you want. Embracing your divine power. It's easy to resist this idea because it means taking full responsibility for your life. Many people would rather believe that their circumstances are caused by things beyond their control, by other people, by luck, by outside forces. But this responsibility is not a burden. It's actually a gift. When you understand this, you see that you are not powerless. You don't need to depend on other people or wait for outside conditions to make you happy or successful. The power to shape your life has always been within you. The moment you accept this truth, when you really take ownership of your role as the creator of your world, everything starts to change. You stop looking for answers outside yourself. You stop waiting for life to improve. You stop hoping that others will change. You begin the real work, the work of assumption. You begin to become the person you want to be instead of staying stuck in the person you've been. This path doesn't require special knowledge, talent, or resources. It only requires your willingness to feel the truth of your desire fulfilled and to stick with that feeling until it becomes your new normal. Everyone has this ability. Anyone can learn this practice. The question is, will you have the persistence to keep going until it feels natural to you? The inevitable transformation. When you commit to this practice, the changes it can bring into your life are greater than you might imagine. I have seen people with nothing create wealth. I have seen those who felt alone find love. I have seen people heal from sickness and create success where there seemed to be none. These transformations didn't happen once or twice. I have seen them happen again and again in ordinary people who learn to assume extraordinary identities. And I've seen it in my own life. I don't speak about this as an idea or a theory. I have lived it. I have practiced the art of assumption and watched as my world shifted to match my inner state. This is not something I believe because it sounds good. This is something I know because I have experienced it. You have the same creative power within you, the same consciousness that has shaped every great achievement, every beautiful creation. That same power is within you now. The only difference between you and those who've already achieved what you want is that they learn to assume the identity of success while you may still be holding on to the identity of limitation. Tonight, I invite you to begin. Choose the identity you wish to live from. Picture a simple scene that shows this identity as already real. Feel yourself in that scene as clearly and strongly as you can. Return to that scene again and again until it feels more real to you than what you see in your life right now. Keep going until this new identity becomes second nature. Don't worry if you don't see results right away. Think of consciousness like a garden. You plant the seed of your assumption, you water it with persistence and feeling, you give it time. Some seeds grow fast, others take longer. But if you care for the seed, if you keep feeling your desire fulfilled and protect that feeling from the weeds of doubt and fear, the result will come. It must come. Because this is the natural law of consciousness. Your divine inheritance. The law of assumption works the same for everyone. It doesn't care about your background, your education, your past successes, or failures. It isn't a reward for being good, nor is it a punishment for being bad. It's simply how consciousness works. When you assume something to be true about yourself, consciousness responds by bringing evidence of that assumption into your life. This means you are already using the law of assumption all the time, whether you realize it or not. Your current circumstances perfectly reflect what you've been assuming about yourself, either on purpose or without thinking about it. So, if you don't like what's happening in your life, don't blame other people, fate, or chance. Look within. Ask yourself, what have I been assuming about who I am? What identity have I been holding on to? What feelings about myself and my life have I been carrying? Once you become aware of the assumption creating the situation you don't want, you can begin to change it. Right away, you can choose a new assumption. You can choose a new identity and a new feeling about yourself. This is your true power, your birthright. This is the gift that belongs to you simply because you are conscious. You are not trapped by what you've been. You are free to become whatever you decide to be. And the time to change is now, not later, not when life feels easier, not when you feel more ready. Right now, in this very moment, you can start to assume the identity you want. You can begin to feel like the person you choose to be. You can begin to live from the state of your wish already fulfilled. Keep in mind, assumption isn't something you do once. It's a way of living. It's not something you try occasionally when you want something specific. You're assuming all the time. The question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? Are you doing it by choice or by habit? Make the decision to assume with awareness. Make the decision to assume what is best and highest for you. Don't settle for an ordinary life when greatness is within reach. Don't accept limits when freedom is your natural state. Don't stay in lack when abundance is the true condition of consciousness. The new identity you desire is waiting for you to assume it. The life you want is waiting for you to feel it. Your transformed world is waiting for you to persist. Everything you need is already inside you. Everything you need to know has been shared with you here. What's left is your decision to apply this knowledge. Will you keep living from your old identity, or will you choose your new one? Will you keep wishing and hoping, or will you start living from the end, as if your desire is already real? Will you stay stuck, reacting to what you see around you, or will you use your power to create the life you want? You make this choice not just once, but every day, every moment. Every time you think about yourself, feel who you are, or assume something about your life, you are shaping your future. You are deciding who you will be and what you will experience. So choose carefully, choose bravely, choose with the knowledge that you are shaping your life with every assumption you make. Pick the identity that will bring you the life you want. Feel yourself as that person. Live as though your wish is already fulfilled. This is the key. This is the truth that can set you free. You are not limited by who you've believed yourself to be. You are exactly who you assume yourself to be. Change your assumption and you change your world. Step into your new identity and watch as your life transforms to match it. The power is in your hands. The choice is yours. The time is now. Assume your new identity. Live from the state of your wish fulfilled. This is your path to freedom, to fulfillment, to realizing the incredible potential that has always been within you. The law is simple, the practice is clear, and if you persist, the results are certain. Live from the wish fulfilled, because in the world of consciousness, anything is possible for the one who believes. And belief is simply assuming that what you desire is already yours in the reality that matters most, the reality of consciousness.